And we continue here. We're going to go to Liberty Phoenix. He is on the line in Illinois via Skype. Hello, Phoenix.
Hey guys, I wanted to call tonight to relate my recent traffic experience.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell a sexting story. Okay, go ahead. It's fine.
Well, I could, but mine are a bit too risque for the radio.
Gotcha.
As many of the people in the Liberty movement may know, I have not registered my vehicle, and I've done pretty much nothing with it since I bought it and was unable to because the title was all kinds of messed up.
And how, sorry, when did you buy the car?
This was in March.
Okay.
And I bought it from a gentleman that was maybe 40 miles away, drove it home with no plates on it whatsoever, took it to the DMV to get transferred over. They basically told me that I would have to commit fraud in order to get it transferred over because the title was all messed up. So I decided, whatever, I'm just going to drive it. And I made it four and a half months without
How
being
many miles?
Like with nothing on the license plate? Just
No. Well, no, I put the plates from my old vehicle on it.
Ooh, misuse of plates right there. So it's one charge. Yep. Okay, moving on. What else?
The plates ended up being expired. I said, whatever, it's whatever. I can't afford to get it changed.
I have a
over
right to
anyway.
travel. Go ahead.
It's true. You should.
Yeah. So I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna keep driving.
Do you know how many miles you made?
Say again?
Do you know how many miles you got the car at, and then how many miles you were at when you finally got pulled? Because it's one thing to say you made it 4 months, but if you didn't drive that much in the 4 months, it's not a big claim. So, for instance, when I drove around with the Shire, the Shire Society plate on, I actually hit my trip meter and I started counting the miles before I'd get pulled over. I made it 30 miles before I got hit. So I was just curious if you're paying attention to that.
Almost positive I made it well over 30 miles. I install satellite systems, so I was driving from cities to cities to cities all the time.
Okay.
Amazing.
Wow. All right. Great. I want you to tell the rest of your story because obviously we've barely scratched the surface. So hang on. More with Liberty Phoenix here in moments from Illinois, which is not a place I would want to get pulled over for not having anything. I wouldn't want to get pulled over in Illinois at all. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We'll find out more about his story, take your calls about whatever's on your mind, the latest on Happy Birthday and its legal status in a moment. Plus, saggy pants are under attack again. Let's go back to Liberty Phoenix on the line in Illinois. You did not register the car that you'd purchased earlier this year because there was some issue where you would have had to have committed some kind of fraud in order to deal with a titling. It was just like this bureaucratic snafu. Anyway, you decided, screw it, I'm just going to drive it anyway. And you've been driving it around doing satellite dish installs. So presumably you've been driving for thousands of miles over the last few months in this car that is not registered. Am I correct so far?
Easily 5,000 miles.
Wow. In an unregistered car?
With no plates on the front, and the plate on the back was from a different vehicle, and the plates were expired.
Had you been pulled over before that for anything?
No, this last Saturday was the first time it happened.
Okay.
All right. So what happened?
So I came outside. It was about 1 o'clock at night. Realized that I had left my ladder in a few towns over. I was like, crap, I need it for work tomorrow. I'm going to have to go. It was Saturday night. I was like, this is going to be horrible, but I have to go anyways. I didn't get a block away. I made it about literally maybe like 2 blocks away from my house when Cherries popped on, and I pulled over, and I was like, well, this is it. He's got me dead to rights. So there's not really any point in me to lie to him or try to BS him. So he came up, was talking about why the plates were expired and so forth. And I had initially assumed that he pulled me over because I California rolled the stop sign. And that wasn't the reason, but he came back, took my insurance information. I didn't have my registration, of course, because I couldn't do that. So he just took my license and my insurance, went back, did his little computer stuff, and came back and said, are these plates for a Ford or for a GMC? And I was like, no, they're for my Ford. They're from my other vehicle. And he's like, that's a crime, right?
Why would you answer that question?
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, I figured he had me dead to rights. It's blatant. I mean, I could take all the tactics to not say anything and probably go to jail, or just work with him.
Well,
which-
the plate's either for the vehicle it's on or it's not for the vehicle it's on, right? Like, at that point, it's either you put it on or Ferries did. And I mean, I think that I understand why why Liberty Phoenix took the position he chose to take.
Yeah, there was no point in dodging the issue. I figured it would be better off to actually discuss it with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did. And he got to telling me, no, that's a crime. And I was like, well, who's the victim? There's no victim there. And he kind of glossed over it. And I kept talking. And he's like, oh, well, the victim is the state. And I thought,
are we talking about the dirt here? Because the dirt looks fine.
I for a moment there, I thought, should I go into that tangent with him? And I was like, no, not at this moment. But he started. I had my my fedora on with all of my. With all my shiny badges and my state speeches hate speech pin from Michael W. Dean, and we got to talking about that. And he's like, "What's this stuff on your hat?" And I'm like, I pointed out my Bitcoin Rebel pin, and he's like, "Bitcoin? What's that?" I was like, "You don't know about Bitcoin?" And I pulled out one of my little Bitcoin Guerrilla pamphlets, and I handed it to him, and we started talking about Bitcoin for about a good 10 minutes. I recorded the whole thing. I've got the video. Derek J, I know you have a copy of it. You're more than welcome to share it on your site.
Great.
I've got it up on YouTube under one of my co-hosts, Logical Reason, Brian Hayek Socrates. It's under his YouTube channel. If you guys want to check it out, or you can. It might be easier if you find it on Derek J's. But it eventually came down to he and I were discussing the non-aggression principle and why we can handle changing aberrant behavior without using violence and so forth. And he eventually just came to the conclusion that he was just going to let me go and take it back to my house.
Wow. You didn't even get ticketed for misuse of plates?
Not a single thing happened.
Ian's outraged.
I do not want bad things to happen to you, Liberty Phoenix, but I am really surprised at that, and I'm almost angry.
I'm not angry about it. I'm shocked. Like, you're in Illinois, of all places, and this guy sounds like you ran into the coolest cop on the beat at the moment. I mean,
or
that's been
Liberty
my
Phoenix was just so cool that he was able to talk him out of it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can pretty much connect with anybody. But that was the thing. Like, the cops in Aurora that I've noticed, every single, I've done 6 cop block videos and this one, and every single one of them, the police have not been your stereotypical authoritarian muscleheads.
I think it's you.
You just need to head on over to Naperville and see how they are there.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing some Robin Hooding over there. See how
So
that
just to
goes.
clarify, you got pulled over. You had a chat with the cop about the non-aggression principle, Bitcoin, among other things. He decided, I'll let you drive it home. Did he tail you home?
Nope. I actually offered to ask him if he would so that no other cops would pull me over. And he was like, nah, don't even worry about it.
So did he tell you, look, you got to get this taken care of? I mean, was there some sort of a threat leveled or an ultimatum?
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, I'm not going to see you out in this again, am I? And I was like, well, probably not, because you only really get to dodge a bullet once.
Yeah.
So I figured that's probably going to be the end of my activism as far as that's concerned, especially with my work vehicle.
But what are you going to do now? You said you couldn't get this thing registered, so how are you going to handle that?
Well, I'm getting paid tomorrow. I get $1,000 tomorrow, and I've got another check in a week where I should be able to get the funds enough to purchase a new vehicle and get it registered and so forth. But I spoke to an unnamed individual that gave me a tip to get the title taken care of for this van. So if I wanted to do that, but it's going to take like 6 weeks to deal with that.
Well, congratulations, man. And this guy knew he was being recorded as well.
Yeah.
That's just an amazing story.
It is an amazing story.
Thanks for sharing it, and looking forward to seeing the video when it gets up online.
The video is posted to derekj.me.
Perfect.
At the very top.
Say, if we could get an easy link, that is an easy link. derekj.me. You can go and check out Liberty Phoenix. And you were alone, too. You didn't have anybody in the passenger seat.
Nope. I mean, I was talking to a bunch of friends on Skype, but
it's a difference between having a more professional, semi-courteous police department that is more likely to give somebody a break versus a bunch of thugs. I mean, they are doing in a lot of cases the wrong thing. They are hurting peaceful people, but I'd rather have a cop give somebody a break every now and then than a group of guys who are handing out tickets to everyone every single time. Thanks for the call and the story tonight, Liberty Phoenix. Hour number 3 is on the way. Plenty of time for you to share your thoughts. Maybe your story. 855-450-FREE. You can take control of Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.